Welcome back to another episode of The Quiet Hold. This channel documents the operating systems behind managing and scaling quiet, predictable single-family rental portfolios in overlooked markets. Today, I'm going to walk you through how we self-manage a growing rental portfolio at scale. Not theory, not motivation. Actual systems. If you're managing one or two rentals, this will show you what breaks as you grow. If you're already managing 10 or more, this will probably feel familiar and hopefully tighten what you already do. Since this is Christmas week, this will be a fairly brief video, and I will try to make this as quick as possible. Most landlords fail at scale for one reason. They confuse effort with systems. They think property management is about being responsive, friendly, or hands-on. It's not. At scale, property management is about control, consistency, and enforcement. It is much more about saying no more times than saying yes. If you don't have written systems, every problem becomes emotional, and that's the fastest way to lose your money and sanity. Self-managing does not mean doing everything yourself. It means you control the rules, you control the money, you control enforcement. Tasks can be delegated. Decision-making cannot. At scale, your job is not fixing things. Your job is designing the system that fixes things without you. Our entire management system rests on three pillars. Systems, standard operating procedures, also known as SOPs, enforcement. Miss any one of these, and the portfolio becomes fragile. Systems are where information lives. Every property, tenant, lease, inspection, repair, and notice must exist outside your head. If it's not documented, it doesn't exist. At scale, memory is a liability. We use centralized property management software for rent collection, work orders, lease documents, communication logs. The goal is simple. At any moment, anyone on the team should be able to answer, what's happening? What's overdue? What's non-compliant? If you have to check later, your system is broken. Next, we utilize centralized CRM for portfolio-level metrics for monitoring financing, insurance, and taxes. Marketing campaigns, internally targeting work orders and ongoing projects. This two-pillar operations tracking system ensures we track every single piece in the portfolio. Currently, we are trying to consolidate both of these softwares into one, but there is no off-shelf solution for the same. We might consider creating an in-house software in the longer run, but for now, this is our operating stack. Standard operating procedures remove judgment from routine decisions. Tenant screening, late rent, lease violations, maintenance requests. Every recurring event gets a written process. Not because people are dumb, but because consistency beats intelligence at scale. A bad SOP is better than no SOP, because it can be improved. At a minimum, you need the following SOPs for management. Rent collection SOP, delinquency SOP, eviction protocol SOP, work order SOP, inspection SOP, either quarterly or biannually. This is where most landlords and managers collapse. Management is a people business, but without strict safeguards, you will get burned with substantial monetary loss. The hardest part in management is enforcing rules and sticking to the boundaries. At scale, enforcement must be automatic, boring, emotionless. Late fees are charged every time. Notices are sent on schedule. Violations are documented immediately. Tenants don't respect kindness. They respect predictability. And predictability comes from enforcement. If a strict protocol is followed, good tenants stay for a long time, and bad ones weed themselves out over time. This would protect the long-term health of your portfolio. Most property managers fail for a simple reason. They manage tasks, not risk. They're paid to respond, not to protect the asset. There are very few competent property managers that I have encountered over my years of owning and managing rentals. When you self-manage with systems, you preserve margin, preserve control, preserve standards. You stop outsourcing judgment. Self-management is the key to a profitable portfolio. Buying property is the easiest part of the entire life cycle of the asset. If you make money on the buy, managing it is where that money is sustained. No one would take care of your asset as well as you would. As portfolios grow, three things break first: communication, accountability, enforcement speed. If you feel overwhelmed, it's usually not volume. I've personally witnessed gaping holes from excessive growth, and it is the fastest way to burn out. The best approach is to grow sustainably to make sure downside is always capped. Constant growth without cleaning operations will lead you to become a tired landlord who fire sells assets for cents on the dollar. Don't be a tired landlord. Make sure to systematize the operation properly, grow smoothly, retain liquidity, and you will enjoy owning and managing rentals a lot more. We have personally gone through what I like to call a painful portfolio detox. At one point, we bought a lot of property in a given year, but due to the anxiety of filling units fast, we loosened our tenant screening standards. Ultimately, some of those tenants were late payers, destroyed property, and had to be evicted. At that point, we decided to curb our growth, kick out all the bad apples, and clean house. It was a very painful lesson, which resulted in a 33% vacancy across the portfolio at one point. That was the time our management and leasing systems sharpened, and we built extensive applicant scoring standards that have mitigated the majority of tenant risk from the earlier growth spurt. Philosophically, this detox taught me the importance of growing sustainably, importance of mental health, retaining liquidity for optionality, and why bigger is not always better. This is one of those moments that earns an operator their stripes. Along with acquiring a better tenant base, pausing acquisitions opened my eyes to which properties do not complement the portfolio and enabled me to think about which ones should go on the chopping block. Ultimately, good management operations are what enable the steady, boring cash flow that everyone loves. However, very few people are disciplined enough to design systems, let alone an entire operating company, utilizing these systems. I've mentioned this earlier, but once someone goes through a few tenancy cycles without the right systems and delegation in place, it mentally ages you like nothing else. No one becomes a tired landlord faster than being the handyman, plumber, dealing with tenant drama, and being a one-man show. This business needs to be run like a proper company, or else it will fall apart sooner than later. This is a general idea of how we self-manage at scale. With this video, we have officially kickstarted each playlist regarding rental portfolio operations and management. Future videos in this playlist will go in depth about the exact tools and softwares we use for managing. If you want more operations-focused content, feel free to subscribe. We release one video per week covering systems behind predictable rental portfolios. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy holidays.